Blackburn
Enterprises.
Thank you for coming to our channel. You could have been anywhere else, but you're here with me. Thank you for tuning in to our interview series. Here at BBE, we like to interview a whole bunch of talented people. So we take our time sometimes to interview models, comedians, athletes, singers, and a little bit of everything in between. Alright, in this interview, we talk with comedian Desi. We get into his early life in Baltimore, what got him into comedy, and him getting fired from Sprint. Alright, let's go. Alright, we got a special guest in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, Desi. How you feeling, man?
Feeling good. Thank you for having me. Thank you for, being on this episode. Appreciate that, man. I'm excited. We out here in the beautiful Miami. Y'all came out here for this good weather. We dodging the cold weather. That's what we doing. So, yeah.
Right. I know you hate that living in Baltimore.
Yeah, and I packed for Baltimore. So I got a bunch of hot clothes in my luggage. So, yeah, I got to switch it up. But, yeah, glad to be here, man.
Now, speaking of Baltimore, how was life, early life for Desi in Baltimore?
It was always a story, man. Early life for me, even before stand-up, it was just always different chronicles of my life that built me up to who I am today. Baltimore is a very, I wouldn't say harsh, but just tough place where you learn a lot about yourself. It makes you stronger, makes you tougher, makes you more streetwise to what's going on around you. So, I've learned that, it's not always somebody trying to bring you a move. Being from Baltimore, you always like, I don't like seeing people behind me. I'm gonna just move my shit.
Right.
So, but Baltimore, gotta keep your head on the swivel. But aside from that, man, Baltimore is a very close knit place because it's so small. A lot of people like know each other because we're right around the corner from each other. So, but yeah, it's love in Baltimore, man. We try to keep it all love.
Right. So growing up in school, did that kind of get you ready for your comedy life?
Those were my first stages. School, and it actually. Me being funny helped me skip a grade because I skipped the third grade because our school was poor, and we had to split the classes. So they took half the third grade and put us in the fourth grade class, and I used to finish my work and then make the fourth graders laugh because I didn't know them. So I made my friends laugh, and the teachers was like, if you want to hang with the fourth graders, you got to get fourth grade work. And I said, all right, I can do it, and I got a fourth grade report card. And I was excited, but I thought I got in trouble. I thought I did something wrong. My father, what you do now? I'm like, I don't know, man. They gave me the wrong report card. And my mother, she all crying like, my baby's a genius. So, yeah, man. Yep. Those are my first stages. That and just family stuff. But the classroom was my first stage. So.
Okay. So did you fine tune that in high school?
Yeah. In high school, that was like my first time somebody ever told me I should do stand up. My boy William Moody, he passed away 2001, 2002. No, not that early, but right when I started doing comedy, he passed away. Because he used to walk me around to other students in school and tell me to retell stories and stuff. Because I used to hang with my older brother. When you hang with your older sibling, they be doing grown stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I would come to school and tell them what happened. Like he would take me to parties with him. And I'm dancing with grown women in the 9th grade. You know what I'm saying? If for us, when we young, we like, yo, this is the life. And he would take me in the cafeteria to different groups at different tables and tell me to tell a story over and over again. I'm like, why you keep telling me? Like, yo, that's funny, yo, that's mad funny. You ever thought about doing stand up? In 12th grade, his first person that ever told me, he's like, you ever thought about doing comedy? I was like, no, man, I thought you had to know Cedric Entertainer or somebody or know Steve Harvey or something to get into comedy, but I was like, nah, man. He was like, yo, that's like a comedy set. You keep doing that because you tell it like it just happened every time you say it. I was like, nah, man. And I went home, tried to write some jokes, but it didn't feel the same. It didn't feel natural because I was writing it instead of just saying it like I know. Yeah, man. And then I told my mother, I was like, I want to be a comedian. My mother was looking at me like, you better stop playing with me. And because I already was getting in trouble for being a class clown. But for her keeping me on stage as I grew up, because she always was. My mother was a playwright and a director, so she kept me on the stage as far as her her production. She would just come in my room. I'm 7 years old. Like, your name's Junebug for the whole month. So remember this script. You got about 30 pages. I'm like, Ma, I'm 9. I don't. She's like, it don't matter. Your name is Junebug, and I would have to learn these scripts along with school stuff. So I was always used to being on the stage. Me and my brother. So the comedy just was I'm already up on the stage as much as I am, so. But I didn't do comedy until I was 23, actually get on stage, but yeah.
Okay, so you started around 23. So of course, on your way up, you had to had to grind to get it how you get it.
Yeah.
So, what were some of your earliest jobs?
My earliest jobs, I mean, I always had a job. I never not worked. I was one of them people that mom was like, you better, if you're gonna be in here,
you don't eat.
You don't work, you don't eat. You know what I'm saying? And once I, I always went to the phone store at first. So it was like, I went from AT&T, Singular.
Oh,
that's,
Singular.
Yeah, that's how old we
are.
Yeah, Singular.
Hey, for my young viewers, I might not
Yeah,
remember
Singular is an old cell phone company. And then I went from Singular to when I was at Singular, right before I got fired, that's when I started doing stand-up. Because I was still playing basketball, trying to do semi-pro basketball, and it wasn't working out. I was driving back and forth to New York, and this is like I always mirror my career with LeBron's career. Because when he first started in the NBA, I first started doing comedy.
Oh, okay.
So, and right before I got fired, I was out on the date with the girl I was with at the time. And you go through your little depression stages, and it's like you really, I always say, when you're young, you be thinking you depressed, but you just be going through some stuff.
Exactly.
It's not just depression. It's not this big thing.
It's just stuff.
Stuff is happening to you in your life.
Right.
And I'm just like, man, I don't know what I'm going through, man. Because I haven't not played basketball like for a team years until that point. You know what I'm saying? Like every year you on a team, you used to going to practice and training, and that was the first time that I wasn't like on a team, so I was panicking, like I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life.
You was a fish out of water.
Yeah, man. And then my father was like, I told you, you have to understand how talented you are in so many things, you just ain't never applied yet, And I was on a date at, it was a restaurant called Burke's, and then above it was the comedy club called the Comedy Factory, and we were sitting there eating, and I always say I would like to meet the person that sat me in that chair, because they don't know that's what started. That person, they walked me and my date, they would pass all these tables to the table. There was like a table in the back, and it was steps to the comedy club right there. So I'm eating, and I kept hearing laughter behind me coming from where the steps was, and I asked the waiter, what's going on? It's a comedy show upstairs. You know what I'm saying? And I was just sitting there like, oh, all right, cool. And I just had this pause like, I should do it. Then the other half of me was like, man, just finish your food and finish going through your depression. and the girl I was with was like, you should do comedy. That's what you love Richard Pryor. She started telling me like, you love Richard Pryor. You love, all those comedians and stuff. Like you always been a big fan of comedy. You should do it. I was like, then I just kept stopping like, nah, I ain't. Then I eventually was like, I'm gonna try it. So I went home. Went on the website, you know what I'm saying? Because it was like, it was a open mic contest going on, and I just jumped in one of the rounds. And I had I went up there that night, and the first person I saw on stage was, I always forget his last name, Tony, I always forget his last name, but he actually was with Dave Chappelle a lot.
Oh, okay.
And
it's not Tony Brown.
No, Tony, we'll cut to that, but he was the first person I saw on stage, and I remember looking at him. I've never seen a live stand-up comedian. I only saw it on TV.
Right.
And seeing him up there, how much fun he was having on that stage, I was just like, yo, he looked like he was having, like, he was just at the time of his life, and everybody just dying laughing. Tony Woods, that's what it was, Tony Woods.
Okay.
And I would watch his set, like, because he was, like, doing the comedy after they was doing the voting. Like, because they had, like, 20 comedians go up, and then while they're taking all the votes, they'd have a comedian come up, a headliner come up, and he was up there just ripping, man. And he was just like laughing as he was doing stand. I'm like, man, this brother is up here like just, I'm gonna try this, man. And he probably didn't remember ever seeing me. I shook his hand and everything, man. And then I went home, I just wrote my little set, and this is, you got 5 minutes to get up here and make everybody laugh, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, cool. And that first night, it was my turn, and Alabama is the comedian that brought me to the stage. You know what I'm saying? And I went up there.
In addition to some other jobs you had, you also was a teacher.
Yeah, I was a teacher right after I got fired from Sprint. I went from AT&T to Sprint.
What you get fired for?
I stopped. I was still doing stuff. I stopped caring about work. You get to that point when you doing something so good, and you be like, I don't care about being here. And I had wrote this script for this show, and I started writing, but I started writing at work. So I wasn't helping no customers. I wasn't trying to hit quota. I was like literally writing the script and emailing it to myself from my work email. It was the most irresponsible shit. It was so many. You cuss, I'm sorry. It was so many customers coming in. I'm like, I'll be with you in a minute. I was, when you in the zone, you can't stop, yo. I had so many ideas. I'm like, I'm in there. I'm just standing, just writing, and I just started like messing up like They used to do this thing called the buyback program, where like you can give us your old phone and you can put it towards your bills.
Right.
Man, I was messing up mad phones. People had like an iPhone 4. I'm like, you can get $700. I'm just here to get this out the way. I was messing up everything. All the people was like, man, I like you, man. You done took my bill into the negative. I ain't got to pay my bill until March. I'm like, hey, man, that's what I do, baby. Go ahead and get out of here. I'm just like on the script. And then they said, you gonna have to, you know when you about to get fired. When they say, yeah, don't come into work until 12. Come in around like 12. Don't even wear your uniform. Just come on in here. And then my boy Ty was like, you about to get fired. That's what they did to me. They said, come in at 12. No, you done. And I never forget. He said, I don't want to hear about this in any of your comedy sets. And then I had another little area where I thought I was depressed. And that's when my homegirl was like, you good with kids, so we should, try teaching. And I was like, I need a job. So,
Right.
And I was subbing at the school for like a week, and it was fun. And I started getting more material just being there around them. You know what I'm saying? There was so much material in that 1 week, and all the kids knew who I was, and I was able to be creative. It also helped me with my stage presence too, because if you can keep the attention of 20 like third graders, like stand up is nothing, because their attention span, just
gone.
So, and they hired me full time because like within a week, all the kids knew who I was. The staff was like, I like him, and they was like, let's hire him to be a teacher here officially, and I was there for 5 years.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of material, we're going to get into what's been going on in these streets that's been giving people plenty of material.
Oh, Lord.
All right, so y'all make sure y'all stay tuned for part 2 of our interview with Desi the comedian, as we get more on his insight on the world and what he thinks about it.